And like I said, I have no experience personally with red dot optics on handguns, but this one seems pretty nice, honestly. I mean, it seems like a very quality piece, very well made. So now let's get to the adapter plate that's needed for the Shield Plus. Like I said, this is from a company called DPP Titanium. Now they do have two different versions, a aluminum version and a titanium version. This is just the aluminum version. I figured, honestly, it's just a little piece of metal with a couple holes in it. Let's not get carried away and overspend for titanium and stuff. So I went with the cheaper option. I'm sure it will be just fine. This one actually also comes with screws as well, and a little tool and a little instruction manual. Let me show you what's actually in there. So it says make sure the firearm's unloaded, of course. Remove the MOS cover plate. Place the adapter plate on the MOS slide. Ensure the plate sits flat. Place the red dot sight on the MOS slide. Tighten the mounting screws to 15 inch-pounds. Recommended to use extra blue Loctite on all screws. I'm not going to do that because I figure I could always add it later. And it shows what's included. Now, let's get to actually removing this plate on the top of the Shield Plus. Now I have, just so you guys know, I already did this, but there's nothing in this gun at all. Nothing can happen, okay? So anyway, let's get started here. You have two Allen key bolts on the top, and we're just going to slowly take those out, making sure not to strip the heads because we've all been there and done that, and that is not something that I want to go through on this Friday afternoon. It would ruin my weekends. So they actually come off fairly easily, so you shouldn't have too much of an issue, but just don't push it. If it's not feeling like it's moving, just reset. And then we could take this plate right off, and there we are. So this is just a plastic plate, and you have a little, I don't know if that's grease or Loctite or I don't know what that is, but we're just going to wipe that off. And then that's the template that you're working with right there. So like I said, this is called an RMSC template. Any red dot with that sort of footprint, the RMSC footprint, will work without an adapter plate on this handgun. So let's get to the actual adapter plate and putting it on, and we're going to see how easy or not as easy it will be to install. This is not rocket science, obviously, but bam, fits right in perfectly fine. I did see a couple installation or videos about this adapter plate where it said it was very tight going in, but this is not at all. It actually has a little bit of play, but that's okay with me. All right, so all we need to do is put the adapter plate along with the optic right on top. And then the only question left is which screws should you use? The ones from the Holosun, the optics manufacturer, or do you use the one from the adapter plate manufacturer? Originally, I tried to use the Holosun screws, but honestly, they were too thick. They were too big. They weren't fitting in. So we have to go with the adapter plate screws here. And we're just going to use the wrench, the L-shaped wrench here that they gave us, and slowly thread it in. Now, there's going to be some resistance, but if there's too much, just back off. You don't want to cross-thread these things. All right, it is on and installed. I have a couple of tips for you guys. So first, these screws that they give you for this adapter plate, and maybe it's the same with the Holosun screws, I'm not sure, but this is from the DK or DPP adapter plate. They load these things up with blue Loctite here. It's like a thick coating. So what I would recommend is before putting the actual Holosun or the actual red dot on here, thread these into the slide just by themselves, just to get them going a little bit, because once I started getting closer to the end, it got pretty tight, and you could see I actually boogered up the tops a little bit. Not that they're stripped or anything. It did get fairly tight at the end where I actually had to take them all the way back out, test it out without the optic there, and then once I put the optic and plate back on, they cinched up and torqued down just fine. But just that's something to be aware of, because like I said, you don't want to be messing with stripped out Torx heads on the top here. Now, I mean, it's a great looking optic. Like I said, I don't have any experience with red dots, but let's actually get this thing turned on here. Now, it does have, I believe, a bunch of different settings. along with like Shake Awake. I'll look into this afterwards, but you could, let's see if you could see here. There's the red dot there. I got the red version, not the green, just because it was cheaper. Although many people say that they like the green better. But let's start with red. And honestly, I have a feeling I'm going to be hooked onto red dots now, and I'm going to be getting a bunch of slides on all my handguns milled out. And, you know, I'll be loaded up with Trijicons and aim points and things pretty soon. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Since I got this thing installed, and it did say that from the factory, it did say that it was zeroed out to 25 yards. I believe it said somewhere here. So I have another, I have an urban pistol class coming up tomorrow morning. I was going to run either my Glock 19 or my M&P 2.0 compact, but I want to use this thing, and I wasn't going to, but before it was zeroed. But if it's already zeroed up to 25 yards, at least that's what they say, it's got to be good enough. I'm going to test this thing out, and I'm going to come back to you guys with a conclusion or an overview of how it went in this class with my first experience using a red dot. So like I said, thank you so much for tuning in, guys. I appreciate it. If you like this content, if you want to learn more about what I'm giving you guys in regards to firearms content, specifically from the state of New Jersey and other blue states like it, you'll love the playlist that I have. I'll put a link in the description box down below as well as up here in the corner. So definitely check that out. Let me know what you think about these Holosuns as well. I mean, is it cheap China crap, or are these like things really legit where it could really, you know, compete with Trijicons and things like that? Drop a comment. Would love to start a discussion with you, and I will see you next time.